Good morning. It is shortly after 9 on Saturday, July 20th. So, I've made it from camp, gone up the hill, and but yeah, I haven't had breakfast yet. So I'm gonna try out the YX shop, which is a gas station. See if they have any coffee and something else to eat for breakfast before I head off. All right, I got myself a New York Club sandwich, a waffle with goat's cheese, and a coffee. So yeah, I'm sure this will provide me with some energy. I feel like it would be quite difficult to be vegan or vegetarian, especially vegan here. Like, all the sandwiches had some sort of meat on them, and vegan, I think, completely impossible. They were also grilling some burgers, or this Löw steak, which I think is basically just a folded burger. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit too early for a burger at 9 a.m., but I guess they must sell them if they're grilling. We appear to have reached the land of pickup trucks. Alright, I am feeling a little sickly after that waffle. It had a massive layer of butter inside that I was not aware of, so yeah, the YX here does not get 10 points for their waffles, unfortunately. Anyway, I figured I would give a brief overview over the plan for today. So, the original goal was to go from, let's see if I can get this a little bit clearer, from Gol to Vaset yesterday, and then Vaset Beitostølen today. But I actually made it basically to where the cyclist is, so about halfway between Vaset and Beitostølen, although this part was mostly downhill and this part is mostly uphill, so I think it is probably a bit less than halfway in terms of time. It shouldn't take too long to get to Beitostølen, and so the question is then what to do next. Obviously sort of continue, but how far to Vinstra? It's around, I think, 110 kilometers from where I am to Vinstra, and I think about 2,000 altitude meters, so that's not super realistic for today. There's nothing between Beitostølen and Vinstra apart from a small town where I need to then basically go up a steep hill that's 220 meters of altitude. And I could camp there, which would get me maybe a shower and almost certainly a toilet and probably a yuki. But yeah, it's a question of, do I want to push a bike up 220 meters of altitude for a toilet? Let's see about that. I wouldn't normally film from a gas station bathroom, but this one here has family photos in it. And yes, this is not stock photos. They have more of them here. They also have newspaper clippings of people using the bathroom without paying. More newspaper clippings. More newspaper clippings. It's 10 a.m. and I'm finally setting off from the YX here in Ryfoss. Not quite sure how I managed to spend an hour here, but I think I needed a sec to wake up. But I'm feeling ready. I have a 500 meter climb to go. It's not the steepest, so I think I'll be okay, but yeah, wish me luck. To the top, 489 meters in just about an hour. More cows on the road. Got some more pretty landscapes. I am getting closer. They also have black houses here. Must be a thing. Don't know why. It is 12:55 and I have made it to Beitostølen. I'd say this actually went fairly well. I've done 980, thank you for the sound, 982 ascent meters, only 30 kilometers, but it's been a lot of hills and stuff. So this was actually my end destination for the day when I originally planned it, but yeah, I definitely going to continue. I partly attribute how well it went today to the waffle with a lot of butter that I had for breakfast. Actually I'll admit, I had 2 waffles. Yeah, had I known how buttery it was going to be, I wouldn't have had to, but yeah, they had a buy one get one half price, and it was a bit hard to resist. So I bought 2, I ate 2, and it might have worked in my favor. I at least got here quite well. But speaking of food, it would practically be a sin not to have some ice cream. So now to find the best ice cream in town. I'm sure Google Maps will help me with that. Well, there wasn't very much choice. The cafe building didn't even have proper ice cream. And so yeah, the place I was speaking from last was like just down there. But yeah, they have coffee up here. I'd say Ryfoss feels like a bit of sort of fairly commercial area with a couple of big buildings. But yeah, that's what a lot of these ski resorts are. This is a really bloody long hill. It's not very steep. It's only about 4% incline. But everyone I talked to in Beitostølen was like, oh yeah, you gotta climb that hill first. And I was like, no, looking at the maps, it's like, looks pretty flat. Well, they were right. I was wrong. I didn't look at the map well enough. And there's a really long hill. Right, I think I've reached the top of this hill. Seems to be some sort of a saddle point here. Oh, no cars for once. And we have reached goat territory. Yeah. Okay. So I thought this was going to be an easy ride along the lake, but there's headwind. Great. I have been cycling for an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm in desperate need of a break. And you guessed it, it is banana time. Yep, I'm pretty sure those tents would be a heck of a lot more comfortable than my tent. The thing about headwind is you just neither feel like you're making progress in terms of distance or ascent. It's just slow. Blah. More hills. No. So I don't really have a right to complain, but they charge cars 120 kroner to drive here, and the whole road is just full of potholes, and yeah, I mean, it's not doing my butt any favors, so not sure. I don't know, I'm sure maintaining roads is expensive, but it feels like they could do more to maintain this road. It is 4:40 in the afternoon, and I am at kilometer 30 out of 95 from Beitostølen to Vinstra. So there is no way I am making it to Vinstra tonight, unsurprisingly. But so the question is, where do I camp? And like, while this is a plateau and it's sort of flat on a macro scale, on a micro scale it's just a bunch of sort of rocks and shrubs and bushes. So not the easiest to camp on. But I met two friendly Americans from Colorado that were coming the other direction, and they said there's a beautiful lake with designated camping spots 30 kilometers. Dodging these potholes is a bit like Space Invaders. You need to really focus not to get hit. Okay, so there's a 140 meter pretty steep climb coming up, and I'm pretty exhausted, to be honest. I think after that it'll get a lot easier again. But I've decided I'm gonna try one of these fuel gels to see if it'll power me up the hill. Obviously I should have taken it earlier, but better now than never, right? So I did make it to the top, mostly on the bike, a little push. But I don't exactly feel like I'm bursting with energy either. Well, here's what the other side looks like. This is very pleasant. Like, going downhill is great. Very charming little forest path with the lake on this side. Oh wow, look at this campsite that the Colorado folks recommended. It is completely empty and absolutely 100% charming. It's got this little table here. It's not crazy flat, but it's okay. I can go swimming. Well, I don't have a liquid eat, but I do have an eat bar. That'll have to do. It is the end of my 8th day on the road. I didn't quite make it to Vinstra, which I didn't really think I would anyway, but you know, one can always aim. I definitely don't think I would have had as idyllic of a campsite had I gotten to Vinstra. So there's my tent over there, and yeah, some laundry hanging between the trees, and the swim before, and yeah, this is my view. So the only downside here is there is plenty of insects to attack me and bite me, but you can't have it all. Anyway, tomorrow I will head, I'll show briefly, so yeah, 2/3 of the way to Vinstra, and then I'll continue on to Dovre. I think if everything works out, I should be in Dovre by tomorrow evening, which would put me a day ahead of schedule. Okay, I take it back. Everything here is trying to eat me. Mosquitoes, blood-sucking gnats, ants that I don't know what they do, but they sting.